The top of the stretch, 3/4 in 109 and 1. Here's Instagram on the outside. Here's Mind Control down at the rail. 3 of them across the track with 1/8 of a mile to the finish. Mind Control down at the rail. Instagram on the outside. Much better is in between those two. The 3 of them continue to battle it out. And here's Haikal making a late run on the extreme outside. They come for the finish. It is Haikal to win the Gotham.
All right, we got Haikal next on Racing Rundown, why I don't think he's going to win the Kentucky Derby. And I want to start with Haikal with a point that I made last time with Code of Honor, Code of Honor, I said in the last video, is a horse that does not need a perfect trip, but he needs a lot of things to go right for him to win a race. And you saw that with Code of Honor in the Florida Derby. When Maximum Security got out on an uncontested lead, Code of Honor was in a one-pace race. He did not have a pace to run into like he had in the Fountain of Youth, and that ultimately cost him the victory in the Florida Derby. So that's kind of the same point I'm going to make with Haikal. But the difference between Haikal and Code of Honor is I would say Code of Honor does not need a perfect trip. Code of Honor needs a lot of things to go right for him if he's going to win a race. Haikal needs a perfect trip. And you saw that in the Gotham. There was the Speedball Instagram. He set a perfect pace for him, and Haikal was able to come from behind. He didn't have any traffic at all. Not that I'm saying he had traffic in the Wood Memorial, but he did not have traffic. He could get through, and he was able to run by a very tired Instagram and a Mind Control who is probably not going to run at a mile again. The connections have decided to take him back, and I agreed with that decision a lot. I think that a lot of owners push their horse to do something that he is not necessarily capable of doing. So credit to the owners of Mind Control for realizing that this horse is not a Derby horse. But so with Haikal, the difference between the Gotham and the Wood Memorial is obviously you look at the final time. Instagram set a torrent quarter, and that ultimately is what in aspect cost Instagram the race, because Instagram went too fast early, and that allowed Haikal to be able to come from behind and run by a tiring Instagram and Mind Control, who had been close. He wasn't on the pace the whole time, but he had been closer than Haikal had been. Although I will say Mind Control looked home free at the top of the stretch. And not even just at the top of the stretch. At the 16th pole, he looked home free. But Haikal came from out of the clouds, won the race. But like I said, he had a perfect setup in that race. Perfect pace to run into. No traffic. And like I said, not saying that he had traffic in the Wood Memorial. But what he did not have was a good pace to run into. And there's a possibility that that is going to be a case in the Kentucky Derby. And I think a very real possibility. Because and I'm going to talk about this next week when I get to actually looking into the Kentucky Derby legitimately, that Maximum Security is the type of horse that has the ability to get away. And if Maximum Security gets away, I would say the cutoff point for horses like Code of Honor and like Haikal is 111. If the opening 3/4, I should say, is less than 111, then you've got a chance. If it's greater than 111, like 111, 112, even 113, which I don't think it's going to be that slow in the Kentucky Derby. I think the slowest you probably get is 112. But if you get 111, 112, 113, you're done. You're not having any horses come from behind. Only horses that are close up to the pace are going to have a chance. That's why Maximum Security is such a dangerous horse, and that's why I don't think Code of Honor, Haikal is the type of horse that I would pick for the Kentucky Derby. He just needs too much to go right for him, and in the Kentucky Derby, as we all know, stuff doesn't go right for every horse. So Haikal had a nice win in the Gotham. Don't think he's the type of horse that is going to get the breaks that he needs in the Kentucky Derby. Still a horse that I would look into seriously, and I'm not writing him off because he could get that perfect setup, but far more likely that he does not. So I know this is late by a couple of days. I will see you tomorrow with a video on Improbable. Thank you for watching. Remember to subscribe on Instagram at Racing Rundown Podcast, Twitter Rundown Racing, and then you can subscribe to the podcast anywhere where podcasts are found.